Hey everybody, it's the Doll Boy, and today I'm giving a big makeover to the G3 Monster High version of Frankie Stein. In this new version, Frankie goes by they/them pronouns, which I think is super fitting for Frankie, as they are made up of several people's body parts, so it only makes sense that there are some male and some female parts for them. I feel like that's also why they included a lot of pinks and blues in the color scheme to represent the transgender pride flag, which I want to incorporate in their design even more. On the front of the box, there's this little artwork of Frankie, Draculaura, and Laguna, and on the back you can also see Cleo and Claudine as well, and a full size of Frankie's artwork with her little pet as well. Then it also gives you some more information about the character in case you haven't seen the series yet. The box also gives a very good look at Watsy and Frankie's entire look and accessories, and I really love the outfit they're wearing. I'm not a big fan of the original hair, but since I'm rerooting Frankie anyways, I didn't care about that too much. To open the box, I just cut some of the plastic to remove that front plastic cover. Then I cut all the plastic tags to free this doll from their box. Right out of the box, I wanted to test articulation that they have quite a lot of, as they even have a hip joint that I really love. As you can see, the layers in the hair are pretty choppy, which is even more accentuated by those thick black highlights in the part line. I do really love the colors used on Frankie's hair, but I'm simply not a big fan of the placement, since you do have those black highlights at the part and some blue in the hairline as well, but other than that, everything is white, which is not great for restyling it in different hairstyles. Frankie also has some very cute pops of yellow in their earrings and eyeshadow, and the face overall is very cute, with a little blush and a stitch on their cheek, as well as an eyebrow piercing that's painted on. I also love that school uniform aesthetic that Frankie has, and I was super shocked that this top actually came in two separate pieces, with that over vest that also has some stitches painted on, and this little blouse with blue and pink lightning bolts. Then Frankie is wearing this chain detail that also spells out their name, as well as this uniform plaid skirt that also incorporates that yellow detail. The fit is a little questionable as it is a little loose, but overall I really love it. As much as I love the look of this skirt though, I do think it is a little sad that the first release of a non-binary doll is actually wearing a skirt, as they also could have easily given Frankie some pants. But I do know that in more recent releases of Frankie, they do switch up and give them some more masculine aspects as well. But I would have liked to see that more in the first release already. Another new detail they gave Frankie for the G3 doll is this prosthetic leg in silver that also has some black drawings on there. And this specific doll is wearing these light pink all-star shoes that have a flat heel, even though the feet are still pointed like the regular Monster High dolls. I do think it looks very funny that this prosthetic leg also has an actual foot shape to make sure it can fit the same shoes as the other leg, which I think is very considerate when you think of redressing purposes. Frankie also comes with several accessories, like Frankie's little dog Watsy, that unfortunately has no movement at all, this little Polaroid camera bag that does not fit around the head at all. So the best thing to do is to wear that as an arm piece. And I do think it's very cute that it also comes with some Polaroid pictures to put in it. They also come with a coffin phone, with a little ring to put the thumb in, and this random piece of pizza. There's also this backpack that is again shaped in a lightning bolt, with this super random pink dangly bit on it. And there's this jacket as well that I do really love. You can easily put that on Frankie by removing their hands, to make sure you only have to slip it over the arms. And adding that jacket already gives it a completely different vibe. And I love that that black top is a separate piece because that is gonna give so many styling options for Frankie. Frankie also came with these ridiculously big blue sunglasses that cover up almost half the face, but actually do look pretty cute. Then, as a temporary style, I wanted to give Frankie this very blunt haircut because I was just too annoyed with those black lowlights stopping halfway. That's why I went ahead and gave them a big chop, cutting the hair just above the shoulders. I also put Frankie in some rainbow high bands to make the overall look a bit more tough, while still showing off that prosthetic leg. Then, after playing around with that bob for a while, I went ahead and cut the entire hair as short as possible. For the new hair, I'm using DG HQ Nylon hair from the Doll Planet hair in the color First Snow as the white base. And then I have two options for the blue, being Oasis Blue and Arctic Blue, but I felt like that Arctic Blue was a bit too much on the green side. And then for the pink, I also had several options, but I ended up going with Blossom because I felt like that would go with this blue color the best. Then I'm also adding some ink black lowlights. And I also wanted to add a hint of glow in the dark because I felt like that would tie in super well with Frankie's electrifying look. Now I simply dip Frankie's head in boiling water to loosen up the plastic and make it easier for me to separate the head from the body. Now I'm going in with my forceps plier and scraping the inside of the head to loosen up all that leftover hair and pulling that to the inside. Once the entire outside is clean and looks very neat, I'm opening up those same forceps pliers and pulling out all the gunk from the inside. With these new G3 Monster High dolls, they are not using glue anymore, but simply burning the inside, which avoids the glue seepage that a lot of G1 dolls struggled with, but makes it a lot harder to get all the hair out at this point. Once the head is completely bald, I separate my sections of hair. And for the hairline, I'm using white, black, pink, and blue. And I'm gonna add some glow in the dark in the front hairline and part as well. For the actual reroot process, I use my reroot tool from the Doll Planet hair, which is basically a needle with an open eye, and I used the smallest needle I could find because Frankie's hairline has such tiny holes. That's also why the hair strands that I separated already are super thin. I start by taking one hair strand and wrap it around my finger twice, and then I pick that up with my reroot tool and pull on it to make a little knot. The pattern I'm using for this reroot is using 2 white strands, then 1 black, then 2 white strands again, 1 blue, 2 white strands again, 1 black, 2 white strands again, and then 1 pink. And I repeat that for the entire hairline and part line as well. Instead of doing 2 regular white strands, I alternated 1 white and 1 glow-in-the-dark strand to make sure that in the dark, you also get that really nice highlighted look of glow-in-the-dark. I then fill up the inside of the hair with more chunkier rows of the colors, making sure the emphasis of the inside is white, and I'm not overdoing with the black, because those darker colors will show up very strongly. And then while I was adding the hair to the inside of the head, Frankie's part line completely cracked up on me, and all that hair simply fell out of the head. I never experienced a head crack this bad, so I actually did go ahead and buy liquid fusion for the very first time. I had heard great things about this, being a magical glue that can hold plastics together so well and even allows you to root over the glued area, which blows my mind. I added a generous amount of glue to this part line, and I actually wasn't that impressed because it didn't look like it was gluing or holding the plastic together at all. As you can see, I'm pushing the 2 halves of the head together so well, and I think I held this in place for about 10 minutes. After that, I left it to dry for 24 hours before adding another layer on top of this. Because I was so afraid that the head would rip open again, I do think I added 3 layers in total, which actually worked so well, and I was able to root over the hairline again, and also add some strands to the original part line. Because I was quite afraid that it would rip open again, I did decide not to use the middle part anymore, but create a new part line on the side. This way I was able to avoid putting too much pressure on the glued area and still finish this dull reroot that I already worked so hard on. To help me prepare root the part line, I actually used a regular needle in my reroot tool and pricked new holes around the line where I wanted the part to sit, and then I fill it in the same pattern that I used for the hairline. After filling the part line with hair, I separate that 1 row into 2 to show off this super simple and neat looking part. Then I fill up the inside of the head, also making sure to add a lot of the glow-in-the-dark hair, because I do really want Frankie to have that electrifying look when I turn off the lights. Then once all the hair is added to the head, and I'm happy with the thickness of the hair, I add glue to the inside of the head to keep everything in place. To make sure the glue on the inside is spread out evenly, I also take a Q-tip and swirl that around the inside of Frankie's head. After letting the glue dry for at least 24 hours, I can put the head back on the body. As you can see, right now the hair is super big and poofy, so I want to boil wash the top of the head to make it lay nice and flat. This also makes sure you don't have to worry too much about losing the part, because boil washing sets the hair in place. For nylon hair, I don't really like to boil wash the ends, because that can make them frizz up, so I really just focus on the roots and the midst of the hair. For the haircut, I'm keeping it very simple for Frankie, and basically just cutting it off in a straight line right above their ankles. And to style the hair, I simply pull back one side and added a little braid in the 3 colors that I used for Frankie's hair. And that is the finished product. And I'm so obsessed about how Frankie looks, and the glow-in-the-dark effect turned out so cool. I really hope you like this Frankie makeover as well, and the video that I made capturing this process. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below which doll you want to see me reroot next. Then to see more content of my dolls, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well, @TheDollBoy. See you next time!